Here's how you can make Google Ads work for your e-commerce fashion brand. So for a lot of people that are in the space, e-commerce stores, agency owners, freelancers, that fashion brands in particular, clothing brands, even jewelry, anything that is sort of very heavily brand driven or visual really often struggles to do well with Google Ads. And the reason is most people just simply do not understand how to use Google Ads for these types of businesses. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I've been able to do it for multiple brands. And in particular, recently, I've been able to really help grow 3, 4 actually completely different fashion brands and one beauty brand within there. So this strategy works for all of them, and it's very similar to the strategy I use for everything else, but with a few key twists. So let's jump right into it. I'll show you exactly what I do and talk you through it. So the first major issue is fashion brands, what they find is they will go, okay, I want more Google sales, I want more Google traffic. They'll simply increase the budget. Maybe they're running branded search, I hope so. They're probably running a PMAX campaign or multiple, and they just simply increase the budget on these campaigns. Now, what does it do? If you haven't got brand segmented properly, you'll find that Google simply just increases the cost per click on your own brand, overspends on remarketing, particularly on things like the display network, on demand gen, so on Gmail, on YouTube, and on search. So instead of putting that money towards shopping, it will put some of it towards it, but what you'll find is a lot of traffic starts going towards these secondary PMAX channels. And the bad thing about that is that they simply do not get a good cost per conversion. So your cost per conversion will climb. Quite often they just overbid on the customers you were probably already going to get. And so most people find that their Google ads just aren't incremental. And so I speak to a lot of brands, and this is outside of fashion as well, that they go, Google ads aren't incremental, we'll increase the budget, they're okay up to a certain spend point, we're happy to spend X amount and just cover brand. Might be $100, $200, $300 a day, might be more, depends on the brand. And we just don't seem to get, above that, we just don't seem to get any more sales. The problem is, all they're doing is bringing in existing customers, absolutely no new customers. Now you might have even ticked that bid more for new customers. And if you're not uploading that data to it, and to be honest, even if you are, I just simply don't trust that number. I find that even my branded search is saying that I'm driving a huge amount of new customers, which is simply not true. And so that number is not true. And so what we need to do is we need to force Google to go and find cold customers. How do we do that? The most important part is you need to have a branded search campaign. Everyone that's against it, it's silly to be against it. You don't need to spend a huge amount, and you definitely don't want to have it on max conversions or max conversion value or even target impression share. You can, but you're going to waste a lot of money. What will happen is over time, Google will increase the cost per conversion and the cost per click on your own brand. You won't notice it because it makes sense, right? You're in an auction. More and more people with broad match will be bidding on your own brand name. So for you to get that same target impression share, Google naturally has to lift those bids, and so it will keep pushing them up over time. It's just logic, and every single account I go into suffers from this problem. And so many people out there going, no, use target impression share, use max conversions with a target CPA. You can, but what you'll want to do is over time is actually just start tapering back that target impression share or the target CPA, or increasing the target ROAS. You can use them, just easier to use, like either max clicks or manual CPC on there, and then just make sure you find around low to mid 90s is perfect for a brand. Once you go over 95%, even 93% impression share, you're just simply not actually getting that much more. And so the amount you have to bid to get there is just not worth it. And over time, you'll just naturally start competing against yourself and against people using broad match. So you don't need to do it. Once you've got brand segmented, you need to decide, do I want to use Performance Max or do I want to go the standard shopping route? Either's fine. Everyone goes, which one's better? There is no better. Try them both out, see what works for you. My suggestion is if you're going to use PMAX, don't overcomplicate it. Here's the second thing, is most people have way too many campaigns. If you have too many campaigns, what it does is it starts to lower your return on ad spend. And so I noticed that the more campaigns an account has, the lower the potential target ROAS is. So the lower the potential return on ad spend really is in it. And the reason being is you end up just really showing the same products in all those campaigns, and you end up competing against yourself, even if you're not really. I've just never found that a lot of campaigns leads to a particularly good result, particularly as you push to higher spend. So less campaigns is better. It also makes the account easier to manage. It means there's far less duplication in your account. And overall, it's just, if I go into an account, I know how I can quickly improve return on ad spend, reduce the number of campaigns. So fashion brands, particularly those that are being run by meta ad buyers, they've got so many campaigns, they're turning them on and off. You just simply do not need to do that with your Google campaigns. By the way, I'll do a screen share of this too. I just wanted to share this as I was working on it and reflecting on it. And if you're going to choose the PMAX route, we're going to have one PMAX campaign with our budget set there to be, you really need to work it out for yourself, but have a really small budget dedicated to this campaign. It might be 10 to 20% of your whole budget, all right? It might sound a lot to be towards brand, but the reason you want to have this is going to serve as your shopping remarketing campaign as well as, I guess, overall PMAX campaign. Really what it's going to do is when we have the branded search campaign there, it's going to limit the amount of PMAX that we'll spend on search. And you can see it with scripts and with the new PMAX tool that shows you where money's being spent, the reporting tool. Then once you've got the search component worked out, so that's a big problem with PMAX is it ended up becoming a branded search campaign for a lot of clients. And once you've got that sorted out, you then have your shopping remarketing sorted out. It will do some other remarketing as well, probably won't be a huge amount, but it's good to have it covered, have a certain portion of your budget. You might find you want even more, and that's totally fine. Particularly if you're coming into a new account or you're just implementing this, don't go and change it too much, just do small increments. So if 100% of your budget was going to this, maybe tone it down and go 80% or 70%. And the next campaign is we want to completely exclude brand. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to add it all as negative keywords into the PMAX. We're going to add the brand as an excluded brand within this campaign. This is a totally separate campaign. You can have the same products in it. And what this is going to do is we're actually going to bring in new customers with this. Now we're going to have to watch the search terms insights to see what we're actually coming up for. And you might find you just want to focus on the best sellers at the start. And that's totally fine. I'm just trying to give you a really simple strategy. Once you notice some keywords in this campaign that are doing really well, you can make them into their own cold search campaign. That's an option. Running alongside this, I have a very small display remarketing campaign that is just remarketing only $2 to $3 a day. That's all you need, regardless of the brand size. You might want to increase it a little bit if you're really big, but most people, you're going to cover your bases with this. And the reason is if you increase that budget on display, it just wastes it. That's what it'll do. Once you've got that as well, you can branch out into your demand gen, YouTube if you have some good assets, but the demand gen in particular is going to almost act like a dynamic product ad that a DPA ad within Meta. And we're going to run all our products through this. You can have some images and stuff like that as well, but it's really using the feed. I also like to do a dynamic search campaign with all brand excluded as well as an option. And you'll notice over time, what we're going to do is we're going to increase the return on ad spend on all the branded stuff, because what I find is you'll come into an account, branded ROAS will be down here, it really needs to come up here, and then we'll use that money and put it into cold. And eventually cold ends up being really good return on ad spend. I helped a fashion client here in Australia recently, and they had virtually no cold traffic. Now I've pushed probably 50 to 60% of their traffic is coming from cold. It's still very heavy brand, but they sell a lot of brands where it's hard to get away from that. So we might be able to reduce it a little bit, but really fashion brands also are going to rely more on brand than non-fashion brands. So hope this has helped, guys. This is a really simple strategy that you can implement into your fashion or beauty brand. You can use this strategy really for any brand as well. So thanks so much. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.